Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle DeLurme, and today we're talking about how to create a marketing plan for the month. So, when you are a business owner, when you're in that entrepreneurial space, especially as a small business, you're generally doing a lot of that stuff yourself, right? All of the business things from the actual task of doing whatever your business is, whether you're doing the technician part of the job, as well as you're doing the manager part of the job where you're scheduling, you're booking, you're handling payments, you're handling the HR, and you're doing the innovator stuff of where do you want your business to go in the future. You're handling your marketing, you're handling equipment repair, services, all of that stuff. So there's a lot that goes into being a business and being a business owner. One of those things is your marketing plan, and you're going to create your marketing plan overall for a year, for a quarter, and then down to a month. And what I have found is it's best to kind of do all of that and to generate that monthly marketing plan 1 to 2 weeks ahead of time as you really dive into before that month starts. And so, what I like to do is January, I sit down, I look at my business, I look at my business from the past year and as a whole, what I love, what I would like to see change, what I want to continue doing, and what I can sideline that's no longer serving me. And then take that, find my focuses for the overall year, narrow it down to what I'm going to do every quarter, and then eventually what I'm going to be doing every month. So today we're talking about creating a marketing plan for your month. And there's a couple things that we want to look at when we're creating that marketing plan. So the first question I always get is well, how do I know where to focus? What do I need to focus on? So when you are creating your marketing plan, you're going to want to focus on something that is going to bring you business now as well in the future. So you're going to be doing things that are going to be creating awareness about your business. And then you're also going to have focal points about maybe a service or a product that you offer that you're going to be creating awareness around. So for example, I'm a photographer and a framer. So I'm a full service photographer. So I do all kinds of genres. But what I specialize in is a full focus, a full service from start to finished product for my clients. And when it comes to branding and marketing, that includes from start to finish of even creating marketing content for them. So for me right now, based off of where I've seen my business go in the past and where other people are able to focus, coming out of the holiday season, most people are focusing on either building their businesses or saving money for themselves to get a larger return. So for me, my focus is going to be on that personal brand photography aspect, and growing the marketing for people's businesses, not necessarily doing a lot of um, portrait sessions and artwork outside of like newborns and seniors. And that also has to do with the weather. No one really wants to go take pictures outside when it's cold and dreary out, and super windy and not like snowy and beautiful. So for me, I know that my focus is going to be personal brand photography. So now for you guys, I want you to look at where are you going to focus your business and what do you want to be bringing in the coming month and then the 90 days and up to 90 days after. So whatever you do for the next 30 days, you're going to see dividends in 90 days. So it's very hard to say, unless you're like really pushing, like I have this product right now, I have this right now, right now, right now. Most of the time people are not filling right now needs depending on your business and your industry. So that is something that I'll be focusing on and what I'll be showing you through today is how I kind of plan that out. Now, and if you guys have questions, I want you to comment with those questions below, leave those questions so that I can come back and answer them. And get those answers back out to you guys. It also gives me stuff to talk about at future dates, maybe whatever your industry is, we can sit down and we can talk about that and what's going to benefit you. So after you've decided on what your focus is, now you're going to look at what you're going to be using to do that marketing. And so that's where we're talking about things like your email list. We're talking about things like events, meetings, networking events, mixers. We're talking about social media, and we'll dive a little bit more into that. And then finally, whatever your written pieces are, those are generally paid, but That can also be things like blogs where you're putting it out on your website. So what you do is, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that you can see it. All right, so you're going to start by looking at whatever your focus is. So for me, my focus is going to be personal brand photography. All right, so I look at that, and then what you're going to see here, right here in this space, people ask, you're seeing what questions people are asking about that. This is going to give you ideas for education-based content and how you can grow your business in SEO by getting stuff out there to the larger audience that people are looking for. Okay, so for me, so what is a personal brand photographer? How much does it cost? How do you do it? How do you do it? What are the 5 A's? Other things people search for. Photo editing software, pricing guides, how much does it cost, how to book a branding photo shoot. So these are all things that I can be putting down on my list. And this is what I like to do for myself is I keep kind of a running tally of like, what are questions that I can be answering for people? And this is something that, depending on how your brain works, for one client, I do a Google Sheet. And so she can always pull it up at her drive whenever she's ready to create her content. She can pull up, what is she going to be looking at? And so for that, so like one thing might be to how to book a branding photo shoot. And so maybe that's a reel that I do, or maybe that's a carousel or some social media content that I do, where I'm putting out there for people how you're going to go about booking a photo shoot with me. There's other things that we can all do. Another tool that you can use is called Answer the Public. Now, Answer the Public, you are limited to how often you can use it if you're doing a free versus paid account. But what you would do is you can go to whatever different search engine you would like to. So like, let's do YouTube. And then we're going to put in personal brand photography. And I want to work with people in the United States, so I know I'm looking for that. And it's going to show me what people are, and I didn't sign in. I'm showing you guys what, unless you want to create an account and sign in and pay and everything like that, this is what you're generally going to see. You can do a wheel, a list, or a table. And so it doesn't look, so search volume, 70 people searched for personal brand photography, 40 searched for personal brand photography near me. London, specifically London, courses, packages, Jamie Swanson personal brand photography, what is personal brand photography? So those are kinds of things that you can look at for how to do that. And it's going to show you a bunch of different questions, right? So that lets you see what are people looking at, and it's the related questions list, or you can see it as a table. Let's do something different. So maybe Valentine's portraits, right? So we're talking about what I'm going to be doing for people don't say portraits, people say photo shoots. Now, so I'm going to hit my limit here. I'm pretty sure Valentine's Day pictures. Yep, so I hit my limit. I didn't get the free searches, and I'm not going to sign in front of you guys. But so you can do the same on Google as well. The other thing, you can go to any of those search engines that you're using. So let's say we go to YouTube. And I don't want to show you the back end of my site. I want to show you youtube.com. There we go. So you can go into YouTube and you can pull up let's see, Valentine's Day pictures, right? And so that's going to show me what kinds of things are people, what content is even out there that people are looking at um, in relation to Valentine's. So interesting. Not a lot of like how to do a portrait session or Valentine's Day pictures or anything like that. So that's interesting. Um, so you have different things you can do. Pinterest is a great place to look too to give you ideas and things like that. All right, so now that we know kind of what topics and questions we might want to be covering, then the next thing that you're going to do, we're going to stop screen sharing. You guys don't need to keep looking at that. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to kind of list out how we're going to do that. Now, so again, like I talked about, we have the email list, you have events, marketing, and mixers, you have social media, and then you have written forms. Okay. So if you have an email list, this is where you're going to be, maybe you're sending out tips, maybe you're sending out a newsletter, you're giving people updates on what's happening, things that they can be doing, whatever you told people when they sign up for your list, kind of follow those guidelines, but you can always adjust. So maybe you want to add on a weekly tip. Maybe you said, hey, I'm only going to send out a newsletter once a month, but you're like, you know what? I really want to work on growing, getting a better return on my investment for my time on my email list. So I would like to send out a weekly tip. If you want to receive that weekly tip, sign up here. And then we're going to create right now, you're going to come up and you're going to plan out what you're going to send. So for personal brand photography, so we saw some of those questions that people ask. So I might include like, how do you use brand photography in your business? So that might be like a tip, right? And so that for week one, I might be sending out how you're using branding photography in your business. Week two might be what are the five pictures that you need or five things that you might need in your business. And so you're going to kind of create that. And so whatever your plans are, whatever your industry is, your market is, take that and continue to drive it deeper by educating your audience. Now, everything that we take on our email list, like when we're doing tips like that, those are all things that you can end up making into lead magnets. And that's going to be part of what you're going to put out on social media is that lead magnet to get people to raise their hand and say, I want to hear from you more. Tell me more, send me a weekly update, and they're going to download something or they're going to receive something in exchange for their email. And then that now they've already raised their hand. They've said, I'm a warm lead. So that's that email list. Then we're going to have like events. So this could be you're hosting an event. So if for personal brand photography, maybe I was like, you know what, I want to do like a glow up event or something like that, where everyone is getting a fresh new business portrait for the new year. And so they can sign up, people can sign up and they do that. Now, usually with an event like that, where you're trying to book seats, your reserve stuff, you want to be marketing that 4 to 6 weeks ahead of the actual event date. So keep that in mind when you're planning that out. But you're going to be dropping those things consistently on your different platforms and in your different communications to your audience to get that. Now, meetings and networking events. So maybe you're a member of your chamber of commerce or another business organization, entrepreneur organization, something like that. So if you're doing that, those are things that you're going to want to be, you're showing up, and this is your opportunity to create connections, build a relationship with people that can either benefit you or help you in some way. Maybe they can hand you referrals, maybe you can refer them, or they're people that you can help with whatever you offer. So put those out there, and then also think about like, is there something that I can be contributing that is constructively helping this organization? So maybe you want to do a public speaking event. Usually those organizations are always looking for public speakers for somebody to speak at their meetings. Like MOPS is a great thing. So I have a nonprofit that we're in the works of called Women Owned and Operated. It's a women owned, it's for business owners and professional women. So not just not just business owners, but anyone, any professional women can join our group. And we're always looking for speakers to come and talk about things that are beneficial to women professionals and business owners, and kind of educating them. So maybe you're a bookkeeper and you want to come in and you want to talk about how to do end of year planning, things like that. And then that by doing that, you're able to kind of help people see you as an expert in your realm. So I have one of my clients, they had they did partnerships with other businesses. And when I say partnerships, it was businesses were hiring them for their goods. And so they came in and they talked about building profitable partnerships where these other businesses became repeat clients because they were so thrilled with the service that they were being provided, the product that was being given to them, and how their clients were receiving these things. So like maybe you want to, if you're a realtor and you're having an open house, maybe you want to build a profitable partnership by working with a baker who is going to do open house cookies for you, or do some sort of baked good. When somebody closes on their home, you can give them that gift of like a pie or something like that. And so you're working with another business to do that, and you become a repeat client. So so they talked about this profitable partnership that they did that actually ended up leading them to having more people in that networking group reaching out to them and being like, hey, I want you to do that for us too. So that's something to think about. The other thing is you're going to want to have some sort of marketing material that you can hand out. Now, everyone always likes to do business cards, but I want to say, like, so you have a business card, right? You have a business card. You can't see it because it's hard to see when it's all like, I don't know. There you go, right? So you have a business card. I want you to think about all the business cards that you've ever been handed. What have you done with them? They get stacked somewhere, never looked at again, or they get like thrown in your desk, or maybe you have a drawer or a bag for a while. I had like a Ziploc bag. I'm not even kidding. I had a Ziploc bag where I would put business cards, like I was going to look at them again, but I never would. So if you're going to pay for business cards, think about like who are you talking to? Who are you giving these to? Most people don't. Business cards are just kind of like trash items. People throw them out. Now, what you can do instead is create a really cool marketing piece. Now, this is just a holiday card. This is my holiday card from last year, like 2023 last year. But I did an extra run of them so that people can see. So when somebody asks me for a business card, I say, I don't have a card on me, but I do have this. And this is my holiday card. And then I can show it to people and they can see what I can do for them. And then it has all my contact information right there on the back, right there that they can look at. They can see my contact information. I have some other really cool marketing pieces that I carry around too. Let's see if there's one in my bag. Usually there is. So yeah, here we go. Oh no, those are all more Christmas cards. So different kinds of things like that. But so you'll want to make sure that you have some sort of marketing piece on you. It might be a little flyer that says, like, this is who we are, this is what we do, services we offer, things like that. But a way for people to contact you and for people to learn about what you do. So I'm a very different type of photographer. I create custom pieces of artwork. And so that's something I always talk about when I do that. I have a really cool marketing piece that kind of like folds out and it's like, it pops out and it has different dimensions and it's 3D. It's not just a business card. It's a really cool thing that people like to look at. So I always make sure that I have those, and I keep some in my car. I keep some in the diaper bag. I keep some, like, they're everywhere. So that's part of that focus is like, is there a way that I can use whatever I'm focusing on? If I'm trying to book seats for a future event, is there a way that is there a group that I can speak to? So if I wanted to do newborn portraits, or if I wanted to do milestone portraits for toddlers, right? That like when they get their baby teeth in and then they like go through this little growth spurt. And so like 3 years is usually like the toddler stage. And then they're no longer a kid right? And then they become like, they're a little kid, and they're a little kid only for so long. So maybe I want to go speak to a MOPS group about documenting like these toddler years of their preschoolers. If I was trying to build up my child portrait business, right? Like that would be a great thing to do. The other thing that you're going to look at is your social media. Okay. So when it comes to social media, here's the thing. Business owners really like to focus on, well, this is what I'm putting out on social media. No one's engaging with me. No one's doing this, or I'm not getting huge hits unless you have something that's going viral. And that means that it's getting a lot of comments, shares and engagement, people clicking on it, people are commenting on it, people are liking it or angry facing it or whatever, within that first 30 minutes of it being posted, it's probably not going to get a lot of footsteps on it just because of the way the algorithm is built. Now, when it starts to go viral like that and it starts to get shared out all over the place, that's a different story. That's going to get a lot more eyes on it, and it's not going to have a whole lot of legs for you, or it's going to have legs for you. But with social media, generally between 1 and 10% of your follower base, right? So these are people who have already said like they told social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, that they want to hear from you. Those are people that if they're just scrolling, it's going to pop up in their stuff. Now, if somebody goes to your page, if somebody goes to your playlist or something like that, that's a different story. So with that, you're going to want to have consistent content that gets more people interacting with you, because that algorithm is going to show things to the people who are usually interacting with you within the past week. Have you ever like followed somebody or liked somebody or become their friend, and suddenly you're seeing a bunch of stuff in your feed from them because you just became friends with them, but it's all stuff from like the past week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, maybe some stuff that's a month old? That's because Facebook is identifying this social media, whatever platform is, all of them do it. Instagram does it, YouTube does it. They all say, hey, you wanted to hear from this person. And so then they're giving you that what you told them that you want to hear from. And then if you're not engaging with it, then you kind of become a ghost follower and it stops showing you their stuff. So something to keep in mind, I know a lot of business owners are like, oh my God, tell all your friends, share us with all your friends, like every page, like our stuff. But if they're not engaging with the content, it's not helping your business. All it's doing is it's showing it to less eyes, because now you're going from 1,000 people who said they want to hear from you, but only 10 of them are interacting with you. Like that drops your percentage, right? So that's only that 1% as opposed to like that 10%. So something to think about. So when I do that, and that's where you can look at some different things to do on there. So it's not always just sell, 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 because people don't want to interact with that all the time. If you're just telling them like, there's a promotion I have, book now, buy here, this is how you get it, raise your hand if you want it. People don't jive with that. People like to have other content. And as a small business owner, this is your opportunity to talk about you. This is your opportunity to educate people. People like things that entertain them and educate them. And when I say educate them, I don't mean like talk down to them in a condescending manner in any way. What I'm talking about is like educating them, like what we just saw with those questions of like, people are asking, what is personal branding? What is personal brand photography? How do I do it? Why do I need it? Where does it come from? Like those things, those are the educational things that you would be giving to your audience. That's that education. And then of course the entertainment piece of it is like showing them a behind the scenes, maybe how you make it. Maybe, you and if you have employees, if you don't have employees, and you can be all of the employees. There's one lady I follow, and she does like that. She puts different like items on her head and she pretends that she's different characters. I'm sure there's tons of content creators that do that. But I think it's funny because she's all these different people. It's the same person, but she is pretending to be all these different people. So you could do that. If you're a small business owner and you're wearing all the hats, you could literally like putting on your marketing hat, putting on my selling hat, putting on my HR hat, right? Like whatever it is, you're doing all of those things and you're handling all that. You can do that kind of content. So that would be that education and entertainment. Then you can do the promotion stuff where you're saying, hey, like this is what we have up for sale right now. This is what we're booking. If you're ready to jump in, let's go do it here. And then you can have the highlighting things where maybe you're highlighting your community, cool things that are happening in the area, other businesses that you love working with, maybe a client, maybe a birthday or an anniversary or something like that. You can kind of celebrate things by doing that. And then written. So this is where you're doing like a blog post. Maybe you send out a hard actual mailer that goes into people's inboxes. Maybe you have a billboard, like that's part of a marketing plan. If you want to have a billboard or you want to have, when I say written, like this also includes like paid advertising as well. So we could be doing radio ads. You could be doing a TV commercial if that's in your budget, doing those different kinds of things as well. So the speaking and the written, they're two different sides of things, but they're those things that kind of get you outside of the social media, like who's already, those are the things that are going to get you in front of people who may not know you already. And then the last thing that always comes up is the when. So this is where you're like, how often am I doing it? What is the frequency? So if you told your email list that you're going to send them an email every month, you already know that's your email list frequency. It is a month, is once a month. And then when is it? Is it on the first Wednesday of every month? The first day of every month? What is it that you follow? Keep following that. Now, if you want to add something in, absolutely 100% do that. Meetings. If you go, maybe you want to go to one networking business organization meeting a week, right? So that's where you're going to look at your calendar and you're going to say, what do I have on here? Maybe you say, I want to do so many in a year. If you do like charitable events, donations, and things like that, sponsorships, you can put those down and you can say, like, I can afford to do this much in the year. So for me, I donate to auctions, silent auctions for charities. I like to donate to 12 to 18, but I also know that they don't have them every month. So there might be months where I'm donating to 3 or 4 in a month, and then I'll have over the summer where there really aren't any, I won't have any donations going out. But I make sure that I have those on my calendar and that I have my auction display, my gift certificate, and my winner's bag ready to go, as well as the contact information for those people. So if you're going to be doing any events, charitable things like that, put it on your calendar, set it up so that you know, hey, this is happening. Those meetings as well. Are you going to networking events? Are you going to business fixers? Are you doing those things? Put those on your calendar. Figure out what that frequency is. Is it once a week? Is it once a month? Is it once a quarter? What works for you in your business right now? And fill those in. And then that's where in a year, in 90 days, right? So in another quarter, then you can kind of assess, did this pay off? And then at the end of the year, when you reset your business again, and that's something that I do every year, I do a business reset, I do a workshop for it, where we go over what you did in the previous year. That's something that you can do in that reset is to assess, was this right? You evaluate everything and you can say, like, did this give me a return on my investment? My investment was my drive time, the membership fee, the whatever it was that went into that investment. Did you get a return on it? And did you see a profitable return, or was it like a minor return? So figure out how often you're going to meetings, and what meetings you're going to. Are you going to morning, evening? Are you doing one of each every month, or what? Put it in your calendar. And then social media. The more consistent you are on social media, the better. I want you to think of social media like a steady rain. Or like think of your social media like your yard. The returns that you get from social media are going to be like the grass that you grow over the year. Okay. Now, if it's a steady rain, slow, light rain, over time, you're going to see grass come up, right? But if you go really hard for 1 week, you're just going to wash all the seed out. You're going to see, you're either going to wash it out or you might see some growth. But then if you start to see growth and you don't continue, right? If you're like, oh, I saw some growth that people bought, I'm not going to post anymore. What happens? Your grass dies. If you say, oh, it's starting to grow, I'm not going to water anymore. What happens? Your grass dies, your lawn dies. You need to continue to take care of it. You need to continue to nurture it. You need to stay consistent. Same thing with social media. You need to stay consistent. So keep that consistency. And if it's not realistic to post every day or post every day and do a story every 3 hours and do all of that, then don't do it. Do what works for you. And it might be a one thing, one a week, one a day, whatever. Your goal is to be able to get it to a point where it's easy for you to manage. And then that written, usually a blog once a week to once a month works really well. That also will help you with your SEO. So that's what we discussed. We talked about focus. What are you using? When are you using it? How to create that content calendar, or not the content calendar, that's coming. But today we talked about how to create a marketing plan. So any questions that you have, make sure that you comment with them so that I can answer them. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I look forward to answering your guys' questions and continuing to help you in your business and marketing. Bye.